Hey everyone, I just wanted to drop on here and do my labor and delivery vlog. I know I said I would do it. It's been a very rough time for us. Hazel's been teething and she's had a little bit of a fever. It's because of her shots and her teething at the same time, and it's just her fever is up and down. We can't really get it to break. Also it is Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. And I also want to include the moms who have had a miscarriage or a stillbirth. I'm praying for y'all. If y'all need anyone to talk to, please let me know, and I will talk to y'all. If y'all want to message me privately, my name on Facebook is Kayla Bug. Y'all can privately message me there. Okay, I'm just gonna say that I wrote this down because if I didn't, I would forget literally everything. I've been in that new mom stage for quite a while, and it's just a pain because I keep forgetting everything. But I'm just gonna go ahead and get into it. But if you hear also a noise, it is my daughter's monitor in the background. So I'm just gonna get into this. So I'm gonna start off by saying a lot of this is TMI. So if you get grossed out easily, please don't watch this. So on January 29th, 2019, my mom took me to labor and delivery because I started bleeding and Hazel wasn't moving. So we got there, they hooked me up to the monitors. After they hooked me up to the monitors, Hazel started moving around, kicking, which was perfect. I was so proud of her, and I still really am. It just took a little motivation for her to move around and kick because she was a bigger baby, so they think she needed more sleep. For the blood, I lost my mucus plug. My nurse still checked me. I was 3 centimeters dilated. So as she was about to discharge me, my blood pressure spiked. And she also told me that every time I had a contraction, Hazel's heartbeat dropped. So my doctor had to be looking at my screen by the time that all this happened, and she called the nurse back and was like, hey, she's not going home, she's staying here, we're inducing her. So me and my mom were like, I'm finally having the baby, because I never thought that she was ever gonna be born. I was at the point of that pregnancy, I just wanted her to be out. I was 38 weeks and 6 days pregnant. I thought she was never coming out. So I started blowing up John's phone. He didn't answer. When he eventually answered, I was crying. He thought something was wrong with Hazel, and I assured him no. I just told him that she's coming and you need to get here now, right away. Of course, he jumps out of bed and he's asking, what should I bring? What should I bring? And obviously, I said Hazel's things, of course, and we didn't have a bag ready. So I asked him to pack a bag for us. So I was too busy texting everybody and calling everyone, telling them that, hey, Hazel's going to be here in the next 24 hours. So it took them forever to get me into a delivery room. It seems like it took them an hour 30 to 30 minutes, hour and a half to get me a room. But when I got there were 2 nurses waiting for me to get another ultrasound to make sure Hazel was head down, which she was. They already did it in triage, but they wanted to have their own proof, which they did another one. After that, she asked about some information, how I wanted my birth to be, who was cutting her cord, and all these things. I said, of course, the only thing I could think of was a healthy baby. That's the only thing I could think of at the moment, and that's all I really cared about was having a healthy baby, and of course John would cut her cord. Another one is, would we want the baby cleaned off after she's born? Reminder that John wasn't there at the time, so I had to say yes because we had talked about it before. So I already knew that he wanted her clean before we held her for the first time. So the nurse checked me again. Same thing. Still 3 centimeters dilated. I had just had a doctor's appointment that Monday or Tuesday. She checked me. I was still 3 centimeters dilated. She swept my membranes. And that's pretty much it for my doctor's appointment. So I went to the hospital Wednesday because of this whole reason. And on January 9th, 2019 at 5:30, they started the Pitocin. And she told me now would be the perfect time to take a nap, and that they would check me every 4 hours. So they checked me at 10:40 p.m., and I was 4 centimeters dilated, so they upped the Pitocin. And I also slept for maybe 30 minutes before a machine woke me up. I was too nervous to go back to sleep because I was about to meet my baby. I was kind of in shock that it was finally happening. So I got up to go to the bathroom, and as soon as I got up to get off the toilet, I felt a pinch in my stomach. And water went flying down my legs. So I screamed out. My water broke. My nurse comes running in there to help me get out of harm's way to get back to the bed for her to clean it up. This was around 12:40 a.m. After my water broke, the contractions were crazy. After an hour and a half of really hard contractions, they were coming every minute. I could barely get a break. And when I did get a break, I could feel another one coming. It was crazy. I was begging for an epidural. But then there was a trauma, so I had to wait another hour. And I just remember my mom calling my sister saying that I was in labor. She was just letting everybody know what was going on. And my sister wanted to see me, and she was like, oh my goodness, look at you giving birth naturally without anything. But after I got the epidural, because I did get the epidural, I said I wasn't going to, but I also didn't think I was going to be induced either. So after I got the epidural, things went quickly so bad. It went from 0 to 10. That quick. It was ridiculous. I skipped from 5 centimeters to 6 around 3:58 a.m. Then I skipped around 7 centimeters and went to 8 centimeters around 4:57 a.m. Then I skipped 9 centimeters and went to 10. The nurse never checked me. That's why they had to rush everything in my room. Because when she eventually did check me, Hazel was already crowning. And the nurses also told me that before my doctor got there to deliver Hazel, that if Hazel was born, they were there to catch her, obviously. They told me that if she was born, they were there to catch her if need be. So all I know is that I was so mad because they kept closing my legs. They would not let me push. They kept closing my legs. Every time I kept moving it, they would yank it back, and they were not gentle at all with this. It hurt so bad. I just wanted to cry. All I wanted to do was push, and I couldn't because they wouldn't let me. So my doctor got there. It took her 30 minutes to get to the hospital. And all I wanted to do was push. When she got there, she was stretching me so hard that it wore off the epidural. I could feel literally everything she was doing. Then she tells me to stop pushing, which scared the living crap out of me. Then she tells me that Hazel's umbilical cord is wrapped around her neck. So she had no choice but to cut the cord. I didn't feel her come out. I was still pushing. I had no idea she came out. But when I noticed that she was out, my doctor automatically just handed her to the nurses so they could deal with her, because by the time that she came out, she was completely blue. I got really scared. After a few minutes, Hazel started crying. I had a 1st-degree tear and a 2nd-degree tear. The stitches hurt the worst. Hazel Addison Bell was born on January 10th, 2019 at 5:30, weighing 8 pounds, 9 ounces, 21 inches, and a quarter long. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to talk about was my doctor. My doctor was a complete loving person until I went to go give birth to Hazel. She was a complete nightmare when I went to go give birth to Hazel. I started crying because, first off, all I wanted to do was push, and I wasn't pushing the right way, which nobody told me I was pushing the wrong way. So, of course, I got frustrated, started crying, and I almost passed out giving birth to her because they wouldn't give me the oxygen mask, and I have asthma, which makes it worse. So, by the time that Dr. Walker got there, I was already pissed off. I was mad. And I just wanted to have the baby. I wanted to have her in my arms. And then after, I understand with the nurses attending to see her and wanting the attention to be on her, but I didn't get to hold her at first at all. My fiance got to hold her before I did, which I was fine with him. My mom got to hold her before I did. Literally almost everybody in the whole room got to hold her before I did. And that's because my doctor was stitching me up. And then I said that she wore my epidural off, and she started the stitches right after I gave birth. After I got the placenta out, everything. And she basically started the stitches. She didn't give me any pain medication at all. She did it bare. And I just started crying more because it hurt really bad. And she was like, "You can feel that? You're not supposed to feel that." And I'm thinking, yeah, I can feel it. You wore the epidural off. Yes, I can feel it. So I was trying not to say this in a rude but kind manner at the same time, but in advance I already apologized to my doctor because when I'm in pain, I'm not the prettiest person you want to see. So I apologize beforehand because I know I can be a complete bitch. So I also in postpartum, I did not like this one lady that I had. I kept ringing her, like calling the nurse's desk because Hazel wouldn't eat. And every time that I would go to call her, she'd get mad at me. I'm a first-time mom. I don't understand I don't know what to do because I'm a first-time mom. I'm used to her eating inside me, not me feeding her. And this lady kept shoving the bottle down Hazel's throat. I was so mad. I was just so aggravated. I didn't even think to report her. I just wanted out of the hospital. So I spent 3 nights there. I spent the 9th, the 10th, and the 11th. They let me go home. I had her the 10th and then let me go home the 11th. And after I gave birth to Hazel, my doctor just walked completely out. She didn't say anything to us. She waited the next day to come and visit us and tell us congratulations, I did a good job and all this. So at the hospital, I would rate my stay out of a 10, maybe a 4 or 5, because The nurses I had, the over in labor and delivery was fine, but in postpartum, I didn't like them at all. They could have been better, and it just aggravated me how that one lady handled Hazel. And she was basically scaring me, saying that she should have been eating by now, blah, blah, blah. She was basically saying that she wasn't eating. That's not a good sign. And we also had this lady next to us with her baby that just had a baby too. And she let the baby scream all night. Just all night. It was bad. But Hazel is now 4 months old. I haven't done a lot of updates on her. I apologize for that. But she started teething at 2 months. She just recently, Friday, got her shots. And since then, she's been teething. She's had a slight fever. So that's why I haven't jumped on here and done the video, because she's been teething and she needs me, and she's been very clingy to me. So I think that has to do with the teething and the fever. But that's my birth story. And if I think of anything else, I will let y'all know. See ya.